Hi, my name is Bobby Seagull. I'm a school maths teacher, author, and presenter for the BBC TV series Monkman and Seagull's Genius Guides. So I want to tell you a little bit about what I got up to over lockdown, things I learned, and some of the challenges and difficulties I faced. So lockdown was an unprecedented period for people in Britain and across the world. Scenes which we've never seen before. So during these challenging times, different people reacted in different ways. I want to tell you my story. So I'm a school teacher with my badge, with my school marker pens, and usually I'd be in school teaching my students. But of course, with the rules of lockdown, we weren't allowed to physically be in indoor spaces like schools. So my lessons moved online. So I taught maths classes right from this very room, usually with a blackboard beside me. But I also taught other subjects. I taught geography for primary and secondary, as well as history. And in geography, we covered places such as Indonesia, South Africa, Japan, South Korea, France. And for history, we looked at periods of times such as the Victorians, figures such as Winston Churchill and Florence Nightingale. But as these classes were slightly different to ones in an actual classroom, I did some crazy things as well. For example, in every lesson, we'd do a little dance. So for example, a South African class, we looked at a native African dance. For a class in India, I taught them some Bollywood dancing. So it was a way of making my learning as engaging as possible. So outside of school, I'm a big fan of quizzing. In fact, I first came to public prominence in Britain through my exploits on a show called University Challenge, which you can see here. It's a quiz show all about knowledge. So during lockdown, I actually won a TV show, got broadcast, called Celebrity Mastermind, and you can see my trophy. So my topic was England, the football team, at World Cups. So using that as a platform, I thought, people in Britain, we love our quizzing, but also we love our National Health Service. So I created something called Quiz for NHS. Every Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m, I hosted online quizzes right from this very room for people through YouTube, Facebook, Instagram Live. And these quizzes on Wednesday were all about football. On Saturday, they were family-themed quizzes. But they're not your standard write down answers on a piece of paper. These are really funky quizzes, and I'll tell you how. There were things such as a pictures round. There'd be a charades round where I would act out maybe various films or iconic scenes from history, and you have to try and guess what it was. And at the end of every session, there'd be a sing-along. It could even be singing in the rain. We'd do it together. One thing I realised during lockdown is the importance of mental health and being aware of how you're thinking and feeling and how others can support you. So I did occasional videos called Thoughts of Mr Seagull. Positive ideas on how you can be more resilient in your day-to-day life, because these are challenging times. But even for myself, I need to take some of my own medicine, because sometimes I can work quite hard. So I did relax, I watched some Netflix, and in fact, if you see there, I've got a Michael Jordan basketball vest, because I watched a series on Netflix called The Last Dance, and I was so inspired by Michael Jordan and his amazing basketball career with the Chicago Bulls. So lockdown has been an unprecedented time. But I feel like I've learned and developed new skills and technology, and also the idea of taking a step back and relaxing, because sometimes in the normal world, I'm out there rushing constantly. Thank you.
Hello, one and all at the Cambridge University Press Teachers Conference. I'm Konnie Huck, author of Cookie and the Most Annoying Boy in the World, and now more recently, Cookie and the Most Annoying Girl in the World. See what I've done there in the interests of equality. Most of you will probably know me from my Blue Peter years. I was the longest serving female Blue Peter presenter. I've just turned my hand to writing books, which we'll come on to in a moment. But first and foremost, I want to take my hat off to you all, because I have to say, the toughest part of lockdown for me was definitely homeschooling. I thought this is going to be a piece of cake. I'm a Blue Peter presenter. I've worked with children all my working life. I've got two of my own who are primary age. They're 6 and 8 years old. And I thought this would be a doddle, but it wasn't at all. It was probably the hardest part of lockdown for me. So yeah, congratulations one and all. We salute you, parents of the nation. Salute the teachers of the nation. I'm speaking on their behalf. I think one thing that lockdown did teach us, apart from the fact that we have quite a short temper sometimes when it comes to homeschooling our kids, is that there is a need sometimes to sort of take stock and slow down. And I think it gave us the opportunity to do that. There are some positives that I guess have come out of lockdown. For instance, a lower carbon footprint all round, less planes in the sky, less cars on the road, less consumption in general, which is a good thing for the environment. I'm sure many of you will have heard the birds singing in the trees. You know, some mornings I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm in some tropical destination. So there have been some positives when it comes to the environment, and also some people may have enjoyed the opportunity to spend more time with their kids and their families. And as a writer, for me, it wasn't too bad working wise because you can write from home. So I guess I was very lucky, which brings me neatly back to the writing books. After my years on Blue Peter, I was asked, you know, would you write a book? Would you write a book? And while I was on Blue Peter, we started up the Blue Peter Book Awards. I'd interviewed many brilliant authors such as J.K. Rowling and Jacqueline Wilson. I'd been on the judging panel for the Blue Peter Book Awards many times. And then now, having had my own children, I am reading to them every night, and I pretty much know the marker. I always thought that if I write a book, you know, I didn't jump at it because I wanted it to be something new that would bring something different to the market, not just another children's book. And I really hope that I've done that with these books. The idea of them is to sort of tuck in stealth education. So the character is very much into science and education and knowledge. The first book is all themed around that, and there's lots of activities and interactive bits and pieces that kids can try out. And then the second book is all about saving the planet and the environment and being eco-friendly. But I always like to say it's like hidden vegetables in a pasta sauce. Kids don't realise they're getting the goodness. They just think they're getting a yummy pasta sauce, or alternatively a funny laugh out loud romp of a book. But tucked in there is stealth education, stealth learning, stealth woke, stealth diversity. And, you know, unless we get kids when they're young, then people are shaped and formed by adulthood, and it's sort of very late in the day to try and undo ingrained thought patterns. I always say that primary school children are shaping. It consolidates in the secondary years. By your 20s, you need, you know, the blueprint is set, and by your 30s, you need therapy to undo all the things that have gone on in those formative years. So it's really, really important to get kids reading. Kids that read do better in life, studies have shown. And it's really, really important as well because books give empathy more than any other medium. And, you know, if we have a society of adults full of empathy, the world would just be a better place. You know, that is something that can look after all the woes of society, liberal amounts of empathy globally, in adults everywhere. But anyway, I hope I've been entertaining and maybe even educational, though I doubt it. I'm sure you guys know most of what I've said today. And hope you enjoy the rest of the conference and catch you soon. Bye!